Did you know that sneaker reselling is projected to become a $6 billion business globally by 2025? Any of my family and friends will tell you that it's always been most important to me that I have the newest and most in-demand sneakers at the time. But it's not always to try and make a fashion statement. If chosen right, a pair of sneakers can become an investment. For the past 5 years, I've personally used the sneaker resale market as a way to not have to work for someone else. For my speech, I'm going to be using the CEO of StockX, one of the world's largest resale markets for sneakers and apparel, as the primary source for my extra market research. I believe that the more markets you can understand, the more likely you are to make extra money. By the end of the speech, each of you will hopefully possess the knowledge of a possible new investment platform. Today, I'm going to explain how the resale market works for high demand sneakers and apparel, and how you can sell products for more than their retail price and capitalize on this as a consumer. So the first important note to make that the reason that any product sells for more than its retail price is a low supply and a high demand. The law of supply and demand is an economic theory that explains how supply and demand are related to each other, and how that relationship affects the price of goods and services. So when supply exceeds demand for a good or service, price falls, and when demand exceeds supply, prices tend to rise. If there is a decrease in supply of goods and services while the demand remains the same, prices tend to rise to a higher equilibrium price and a lower quantity of goods and services. And on the graphs here, that's represented by, on the left, we have a supply and demand line, and where they meet at P1 and Q1 is equilibrium. And on the right here, it shows the increase in demand from D1 to D2. And this increase moves the price along the supply curve from P1 to P2. Now this applies to hard to get sneakers and hard to get apparel, because when it's a low supply and a high demand, and the consumer they get word that it might be more limited than they thought, then there's an increase in demand because of that. There's an inverse relationship between the supply and the prices of the goods and services when demand is unchanged. If consumer information about the available supply is skewed, then the resulting demand is also going to be affected. An example of this I found on Investopedia. Skewed consumer information affected demand after 9/11 for oil. The public became concerned with oil prices, and they thought that there was going to be a low supply when in actuality there wasn't. And oil companies capitalized on this by raising prices because they knew there was a demand for the oil. When a clothing or shoe is marketed as limited, it also results in a higher demand to consumers. The second important note to make is that sneakers hold the largest portion of the clothing and apparel resale market. China specifically is soon going to become the sneaker capital of the world, says StockX CEO Cutler. China's sneaker resale market exceeds $1 billion in value. Across China, more than 10 million monthly active users frequent online resale apps such as Poizon, Nice, Dunu, and StockX, according to a Chinese data mining company called QuestMobile. Most of what's traded on these platforms are basketball sneakers, and this is a testament to China's love of the sport. There are two ways to buy coveted products, and these ways are through in-store at retail locations, and you can wait outside the store all night until it opens in the morning, or you could pay someone to wait for you. But you have to take this cost out of what you might make reselling the sneaker. The other form is through online stores. You can wait through website crashes and slow internet speeds in hopes of making it through. Or you can use a software called a bot. And what this does is it checks out high demand items within milliseconds. A separate email, phone number, credit card, and shipping address usually are required for each item, as they are one per customer. But this is one method to get a lot of sneakers. And if you don't want to spend thousands of dollars on bot software, there's another method called add to cart services. And basically what this is a business that owns many versions of this software, and they will check out a shoe for you online with a set service fee per item, depending on how coveted that sneaker is or that piece of clothing. And this fee, you have to account it into what your item might sell for. For example, Kanye West's Yeezy 350 V2 retails for $220 US, and it resells for anywhere from $400 to $600 US. Some of these fees to purchase this shoe for a customer online can cost anywhere from $50 to $75. But when you're looking at a shoe that's $220 with a fee of $50 on top of that, you're in it for $270, $10 shipping, $280, and we're looking at resale of anywhere from $450 to $600. Take out shipping and everything, you're still making a good $100 on each pair of shoes. And this doesn't necessarily happen for every pair of shoes, but a lot of them, and a lot coming out from Kanye West, designers like Virgil Abloh, they're really doing big numbers. Now that you know a little bit about a new emerging market, you can make a decision if this is an investment opportunity that you would like to get involved in. If you haven't heard about how large of a sneaker and apparel resale market it was until today, you now have insight into a new place where your money can travel and grow.